Welcome to the Educational Physics Podcast. I am your host, João Figueiredo. This podcast is all about education, pedagogy, mindset, and really any other nonsense that I think about during the week. Enjoy. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing, reviewing, or even sharing with your friends. Welcome to another episode of the Educational Physics Podcast. Today I want to talk to you about motivation, what motivates people to learn, to pursue their passions, to practice, and what the role of artificial intelligence could be in increasing motivation amongst younger people, but also adults. One of the things that we know is that adults require different strategies for learning. Younger people can learn much more quickly. It's much more natural for them to actually absorb information. And there's a series of actual psychological and neurological reasons as to why that happens. Our development is designed to allow for more absorption of information when we are younger rather than when we are later. We gain other skills when we are older, such as patience, concentration, ability to reason with that information, ability to connect more dots, ability to understand the relationship between two sources of information and find the overlap and the conflicts. Those are the skills we acquire as we grow older. On the flip side, what motivates people to learn as they grow older is much more pragmatic. It's all about application. It's perhaps you're motivated about pursuing a specific career, so you go acquire the qualifications that will equip you with the knowledge necessary to pursue said career. When you're younger, motivation comes from different places. One of those places is indeed passion and curiosity. So then, as an educator, I ask myself, how can I increase or promote or facilitate passion and curiosity? Children are wired to be curious about everything. So how can we motivate a child to pursue something that they show, more curiosity towards or more passion towards? How can we educators or parents help our children pursue those things that they are passionate about? In other words, how do we avoid the trap of surges of motivation followed by a dip, followed by seeing them just lose interest and basically move on and spend the first 20 years of their lives just swaying from interest to interest? I want to say this for full disclosure. I believe that we should all explore as much as possible, not just as youngsters, but for the entirety of our lives. We should explore different interests, different, fields of knowledge. What I'm talking about is the loss of motivation. You have to bear in mind that what we repeat sticks. So if we repeat the pattern of starting something and then not finishing, just moving on because we can't really engage with that passion, that will become conditioned into that child's mindset, and even as adults they will have that tendency to quit when they lose motivation. As I observed this, I realized that there was one factor that seemed to support motivation more than others. Encouragement from home is crucial. If you feel encouraged to pursue certain things, you will most likely stick to them because that encouragement becomes positive feedback, it becomes positive reinforcement. Even when you struggle to do something, you're getting that positive reaction from your surroundings, your family, your peers, your teachers, whoever. But what if there is no place to apply that passion to or onto? What I started to realize over the years as a music teacher is that students who have a drum set are more motivated to practice, because I'm a drum teacher, right? So they are more motivated to practice than the ones who don't have a drum set. So now you could say, well, duh, obviously, anyone without a drum set would struggle to motivate themselves to practice the drums, like just hitting their legs or whatever. Yep. But then I kept observing this. And then I saw that students who go and watch live music with their parents are more motivated to practice than those who don't, even if those who don't have drum sets. So now there was another factor here: exposure to those who can already do the thing that you're trying to learn. So then I started to realize that there is something to this factor of proximity. So, to feel closer to the thing you're trying to learn will motivate you to pursue it more deeply. So, we can take this to another extreme. If your child is curious about Egyptology, which I had a phase when I was young, I was really into that sort of stuff. And I would spend days at the library just reading and just devouring books about Egypt and the history of Egypt and all sorts of cool stuff about Egypt. And I was really into it. That motivated me to learn more, and I got fairly knowledgeable, I guess, for a child. Eventually, I lost motivation and I moved on. Okay, so I don't regret moving on, but what if I had been taken to a museum? What if I had been shown documentaries? What if I had been taken to Egypt? That's the thing about proximity. The closer you are to the source of the knowledge that you're trying to acquire, the more motivated you'll be to keep on acquiring it and keep on mastering that knowledge. Of course, there's an issue with this theory, right? Because you think, well, what if my child is really into space? Am I supposed to take my child up to space? I mean, even if that's possible, and let's accept that it will be possible to do that commercially within the next 10 years, that's not unreasonable to think, but obviously the cost is still going to be extremely high. So there are ways, and this is something that we need to investigate and dive deeper into so we can understand the cost benefit of this. So I'm just going to speculate here today, and then hopefully you guys can take this conversation forwards and even answer some of the questions that I might have today. One of the ideas that I've been exploring in my mind is the utilization of virtual reality devices and artificial intelligence combined to create an environment where proximity is never a problem. So, whatever field the student is interested in, we will be able to provide the perfect scenario for that student to really take their to go from curiosity to passion, from passion to application, from application to a life, a career, whatever. Imagine this: you're in school and you are in a class with other children, and we're talking about passions. And we ask everyone, okay, what's your passion? And so says, I want to be a drummer. And the next student says, I want to be an Egyptologist. And the next one says, I want to be an astronaut. Great. With those VR sets, you can then send each one of those students to separate places, so to speak, simultaneously during that same class under the same cost. One student is gonna maybe watch a live gig or even perform one. Imagine this: that to expose that child to rehearsal with their favorite band, or even playing a live performance with their favorite band, or taking a drum lesson from their favorite drummer, whatever, like crazy fantasy scenario. You can do that. Of course, the children will know that this is not real, but it will still release all those endorphins that really fire, that really fuel even motivation. The other student is now like exploring one of the pyramids with legendary Egyptologists like Nick Carter. The third one is now up in space, maybe exploring Mars, and is surrounded by other, NASA astronauts. You get the point. Could this be the way to provide passion to children who are less fortunate? Imagine this being applied to places like, Senegal, where so many children struggle to get just the basics of education, let alone to be exposed to ideas and realities that just feel so distant. How dare they dream? This could be the key that unlocks that. Imagine providing this to those schools. Even if we only provide one headset, one VR headset, and kids take turns. I mean, we have these things at home just for gaming. We can't use them for education to bring that proximity to them. Instead of taking them to the source, we bring the source to them. Wouldn't that be beautiful? So I think there's something to this. And to try to organize these ideas to make, I guess, policy is one of my missions. To put the word out there that artificial intelligence associated with VR, so that student has a completely customized and completely personal experience with the thing of their dreams, whatever that thing might be. They might want to be a professional footballer. Great. Get them to once a week in virtual reality to engage with practicing with the team of their dreams. That's not impossible. We can get, Lionel Messi to speak to them directly by name. This is not some sort of recording. This is a VR representation of Messi that has artificial intelligence rather, feeding the speech, obviously, and conversating and exchanging ideas and giving them pro tips. How much more passion would we have on this planet if we could bring the passion to people? We know that these children in less fortunate places, how much they struggle to even dream about a better life because it feels so distant. How many give up even before they try? How can you even go for what you don't know that exists? How can you even aim at that? For you to aim at something, you need to have a target. You can't have a target if you can't see. So these devices, this reality could well allow them to see what life could be. Then, of course, we still have the issue of, what happens when you take the headset off? It's like you can see when you have your glasses on, you still can't see when you take your glasses off. Your glasses don't fix your sight, they just assist it. Then, obviously, we still have that issue of the logistical issue of what do we do next. Obviously, that's something to be explored, but the function of school and schooling ought to be to facilitate and inspire. Obviously, schools don't finance passions. That's not what we do anywhere. We don't finance passions, but we expose children to those passions and then allow them to pursue them. So then, yes, we can create programs where children can go and actually fulfill those dreams and passions in real life, in real time. But of course, what we need to always think about is why would they do that if not for knowing that they could achieve that they could almost feel that reality touching them. So let's think about solutions. Let's think about how we can bring all these things together. How can we help children from different cultures to explore and feel close to things that they would always consider to be impossibles? Artificial intelligence, technology in general, can be very scary, it can be very dangerous. Some people are extremely concerned about the consequences of bringing this into the world. You have people like Elon Musk and Sam Harris saying things like, Elon Musk said famously that to create artificial intelligence is to summon the devil. Sam Harris is very worried about the consequences of bringing this into existence, because it might just take over the world. I lean more towards the optimistic side. I believe that we will be creating devices that have the ability to comprehend speech, that they have the ability to even comprehend emotions, that have the ability to help a child or an adult communicate with themselves better, because these machines will be a sort of reflection of who we are, but then they will be able to give us nudges. They will be able to interact with us using the correct words that will unlock certain mental ruts. If we get stuck in a mental rut, sometimes all we need is the correct pep talk. But many people don't know how to do that. Artificial intelligence would know, because they would know you. And by knowing you, they will know exact words and the exact thoughts to put back into your system. This can all sound very weird and kind of alien, like why would I want a machine to actually know all my thoughts and fears and insecurities? And why not? Lots of people pay therapists to do that. Why not have an AI machine that does that? So back to AI in education. If we can bring this into schooling and allow all dreams to come to reality, even if it's a virtual reality, it's reality nonetheless, then the lines that separate our physical reality and our metaphysical reality, which is the reality of our dreams, those lines become blurry. And once those lines become blurry, who knows what we can achieve? We know for a fact that what separates successful people from unsuccessful people is just opportunity. It's making that opportunity happen. It's turning luck into opportunity. It's sometimes being, in the right place at the right time. That's true. And we can actually encompass all of that by creating the right place and the right time, by bringing that opportunity to people, by creating that luck, by turning what could be just random fate into purpose. And once we are capable of doing that, Who can tell what we can bring to everyone's lives? How much progress can we actually unleash? So let's think about this seriously and let's not be so scared and so dismissive of AI as so many people seem to be. I've been pushing this agenda for at least 6 years. I truly believe that this is the way to go. I truly believe that education has everything to win by incorporating AI. We can have better teachers if assisted by AIs, not to replace them, but to be assisted by. So, yes, maybe TAs would lose their jobs. That's okay. That's okay. That's progress. Things change. We adapt. A job is just a title, it's not an identity. Who you are, who you could be, can still be revealed to you even if you lose the access of a certain title, a job title. You will find something else. In fact, the idea is that this AI can show you who you could be. You can experiment with different realities. You can run simulations of your life. You can explore who you could have been. Imagine that. Being able to run an alternative reality as a simulation to see exactly where you could end up if you made different decisions on this non-virtual life. So I'll leave you with that. Think about these ideas. Challenge yourself to question what could be. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe, share, like, the usual stuff. Take care. Bye-bye.